When you are down to nothing, then God is up to something. Your perspective of God determines the way He appears to you. If you think you need loan to move forward, God will arrange it for you. He answers you according to your faith. If you come to realize that you don't need it, then He will meet you accordingly. This ministry has never needed loan. And see the great things on ground here today. It is the light you have that determines your flight. Our world is changing in everything very quickly. Recently, in an analysis, an expert had said that the rate of change of knowledge doubles now every 6 months. About a century ago, the rate of change of knowledge was about 200-300 years after the previous level of knowledge. And from there it has increased and increased, and now if you think you know something 6 months ago and you are still walking by it, you're already outdated. We don't know what it will become very shortly. You cannot claim to be excellent if what you knew yesterday or what you knew last year is still what you know today. In the business world in particular, one thing that is permanent is change. And it is at the point of change that many people become dropouts. Business failure comes when the climate of business change. The changes of our time in the business world is so astronomical that you need to be prepared for change at a consistent rate. Your approach has to change. Otherwise, you'll be left behind. Things are changing too quickly. It is changing in all fields of life. That's why a pastor who thinks he can continue to pastor the way he did last year has already failed. And not only failed, he's out of ministry. Things are changing everywhere. And like I said, what makes people fail, practically speaking, is the change that occurred that they did not respond to. Progress comes from our response to changes. If the tone of music changes and you don't change your footstep of dance, you become odd. The music of business is changing. Your steps of dance must change along. Otherwise, you become odd, picked out, and thrown out. If you are not current with information, the currents of business challenges will deform you. Things are changing, and only men who are changing will catch up with the things that are changing. If you don't change, and things are changing and you are watching, you'll be left behind. You have to be current. Recently, in a team, we made a trip to Israel to go to study their agriculture. And getting there, everybody we met in their areas of specialty in agriculture said, water is our greatest problem. And what a paradox. A nation that has the greatest problem of water is producing the greatest agricultural product. And that they are doing with facts. They are current with the events. No water, yet everywhere is green. Here, water everywhere, and yet everywhere is brown. Why? People are not current. There are many lawyers who are not current. He makes references that are outdated. Many doctors, not current. He is still practicing the way it was 5 years ago. There are many marketers who are still doing marketing the way they used to do it. If you are not a learner, you'll be left out. Everyone in business here, never you assume a state of rest. As a matter of fact, you should consider yourself as a beginner and as a learner, no matter how far your business has reached. You have one shop and then you fold your hand. 50,000 naira is coming for you every day, and then I think we are trying. Consider yourself as a beginner. Keep hunting for information in your areas of endeavor. In engineering, in architecture, in fashion business. Behave as if you don't know anything. In the West, they used to say that it's because you have not gone to another man's farm. That's why you think your father's farm is the biggest. And that is what's happening to many businesses in our community today. We conclude that we have reached the apex of our businesses. The cheapest way for you to keep aspiring is to keep assuming that you have not started. And that will drive you to keep learning, to keep gathering information that will keep you current. So currency is earned by continuous learning. Learning puts you ahead in the business world. As a matter of fact, learning is leading. In India, cancer is being treated now like malaria fever because it is at the tip of their fingers. They are very current on issues that has to deal with such ailment. Now, but it is revealed that India has the highest number of students, foreign students in America. They go to import knowledge, whereas many people go from here to push drugs and do other things. Our hunger, our desire, our affection for information in this part of the world is so low, if it ever exists. That's why we are where we are. People are busy looking for quick way of getting money, and they don't understand that what they need is not money. What they need is information. Information is the purchasing price in the business world today. Information is your cutting edge. People will pay you much more in our time for the information that you have at your disposal. What makes you to excel is what you know that others don't know. It is knowledge that opens you up to new phases of life. Here we have oil. We are still importing fuel in this country. There is hardly any food we are not importing, perhaps except gari and aku. Importing rice, importing sugar. All the factories of sugar have closed down. We should be ashamed. We should be weeping inside. It's a lot of concern. We have many research institutes in this country today where nothing is going on except sharing of money. But you and I can make the difference. As a matter of fact, in my view, the only hope of this country now is private efforts, individuals, especially from the church, rising up to initiate new things in virtually every field of life. But it all begins by massively flooding your mind with information that will keep authority at your fingertips. If we must catch up with what is happening in the business world, you have to necessarily be current.